Hi everybody, welcome back to my budgeting videos. Now I actually already filmed a video while I was writing out my budget for my September 20th paycheck, but I went on like a million tangents when I was walking through that one and chatting away about so many different things that it made the video abnormally long. And it also, I couldn't make you sit through that. Like, it was crazy because I was a little I was in one of my kind of more confused states from my concussion. It was a day after I'd had work and then physio and everything, and my brain tends to not hold a thought very well. And also I was stumbling over my words even more than I'm doing today. So it just, I couldn't make you sit through it. So I know normally I do the videos where I show you, like, as I'm writing it down, I'm going over everything, but I'm just going to go over what I did and what happened with the money and just sort of point it out as I go along. So apologies for the change in that, but trust me, it's for the better. So my paycheck was September 20th. That was Friday. Today is Sunday. I actually did do my budget on the Friday, which I didn't think I would be able to, because usually if I have physio after work, which I did on that day, by the time I'm home, I'm not really functioning all that great. But I really wanted to do my budget on the day because I got some of the lost wages check, or some of the lost wages money, in the form of a check from the insurance company earlier in the week, and Friday was business day 5 after I had deposited the check, which meant I was finally able to move the money around, and I really wanted to make a payment onto my line of credit. This is what happens when you get super excited about paying off your debt. You're like, yes, I got money, and you're not thinking I want to go buy boots. You're thinking I want to put a payment onto my debt. It's a strange shift in mentality, but I think it's a good one. So because of the ICBC check and a couple other things, the starting balance in my account when I was doing my budget was $5,912.15, which blows my mind. It's such a big number. Now, completely inflated, not real at all, but still really nice number to actually see, right? So I pulled out the ICBC check, so that was $3,775.22, which left me with $2,136.95. Then I pulled out $9.21. When I remember to, when I'm shopping online, I shop using the Rakuten app. So it's an app that you put on your phone, or I think you can sign in if you're doing shopping on your computer, and then you just select what shop you were already intending to go shopping at. So say Amazon, and then like their app routes you through to Amazon, and it'll tell you before you go, like, what percentage cash back you're going to get. So whatever you buy, you're going to get anything from like 1%. I think the highest I've seen is 10% cash back on your purchases. And then as long as you don't return those purchases, you do get that money paid out. They pay it out, I think it's every quarter, and they pay it by an actual physical check getting mailed to you. So I had gotten my check and it was $9.21. And so I pulled it out of the rest of, like, the bigger budget, because I was hoping that I wouldn't need it for the main part of the budget, and therefore I could put it as a tiny extra payment on the line of credit. Because whenever I come across random little things like this, I want to be able to put them on the line of credit whenever possible, because all those little bits add up. So I pulled out the Rakuten money, and then I pulled out Striker's money. So Striker is my cat. He has money that is set aside specifically for purchases for him. So currently in this account, he has $227.42. So that brought me down to $1,900.30. And then I pulled out the remaining money that my mom had given me weeks ago that I'm using as a buffer in the budget, and that is $451.50. So now I'm down to a balance of $1,448.80, and this is where I consider the real budget is starting, because everything above this is just me taking out money that is not to be used in the budget. And so now I'm starting on things like bills and whatnot. So I pulled out $650, that's half of my rent, and I moved that over to a separate account because I put half my rent into, like, every paycheck I put half my rent pulled over into a savings account just so I don't accidentally spend it. So that brought me down to $798.80. Then on Tuesday, my SUV payment will automatically withdraw. That's $266.72, which brought me down to $532.08. Then $60 got paid towards my cell phone, bringing me down to $472.08. My Neo credit card has a charge of $17.47, so I paid that off completely, bringing me down to $454.61. $75 I was taking out and putting it back to the buffer. So my line of credit, the minimum monthly payment for it currently is $467.57. So last paycheck, I paid $292.94, which is an amount that I calculated out that if I were to pay this every pay period, I would pay off the entire debt in 4 years. And then I paid an additional $100. Because I had money, like I had some extra money in the account and I'm trying to pay it off faster. However, the line of credit actual due date for this month is this coming Monday, so it's tomorrow. And I was worried that if I wasn't able to do the budget on Friday, or even if I did, but things just didn't process in time, because sometimes there's like 3 business days for processing bill payments and whatnot, that it wouldn't register on the line of credit as having the minimum monthly payment paid in full in time by the due date. And I don't want them to think that I'm missing payments or late on payments, because then my interest rate will go up. So I kind of realized that, calculated out, I still had to pay $75 onto the line of credit just to hit the minimum monthly payment. And so I did that earlier in the week. I paid $75 from the buffer money from my mom that was sitting in my bank account, with the promise to myself that I would pay it back to the buffer. So $75 is coming out of my regular budget to go back into like the buffer total amount. So like this 451.50 is going to go up so that I wasn't late with the line of credit payment. So this brought me down to $379.61. And you can see here, I decided to put an additional $200 payment onto the line of credit, but I've changed that. So this is another reason I wanted to record this, because a change has occurred. So I very much get into the mindset of I want to pay off the debt as fast as possible when I'm in the right mindset of debt repayment. You know, like I just get really, really focused on it. And I don't think that's a bad thing, because I think it helps to keep me driven towards my goal. However, in my family and in my friend group, I have a lot of birthdays coming up, as well as Christmas. A lot of my people that I buy presents for, their birthdays and whatnot are in November. My mom and dad's wedding anniversary is coming up. Now, he's passed away, so it's not like they celebrate it, but I still want to send her flowers or something on the day, because you have all those years of it being a day that you celebrate your love with another person, and I don't think it should just get ignored because one of the people is gone. That's just me. I don't know. So I have expenses coming up I have presents that I'm gonna have to buy. I don't know what I was trying to say there. So my present sinking fund right now, I think it has a balance of like roughly $100 or something in it. It's not enough. Like, it's not going to be enough for present purchasing going forward. So I decided this $200, I'm going to put it into my present sinking fund to help bump that up. Because what I don't want to happen is I start shopping for presents, I quickly run through the $100 that's sitting in that sinking fund, and then it's not like I just don't buy people presents, right? So I would have to put it on the credit card, and then that would mean I'm either paying off the credit card every month, which is taking away from my ability to put a larger payment onto the line of credit, or it means that I'm moving the balance of whatever I spend on presents from the credit card over to the line of credit, and instead of paying it off, I'm adding more debt to it. And so I don't like any of those scenarios. So I've decided to put the money into the present sinking fund, and then I'm gonna have to be really careful with the presents that I buy for people, but hopefully I'm able to get it funded enough and be careful enough with my shopping while also not like skimping out on people, and be able to get them their items. So this is leaving me with $179.61 in my account, which is really good for me, actually. I'm so used to it being like a double-digit number that I still feel like, ooh, I could take some of that and siphon it off somewhere, but I need to be careful, because if I overspend, even if it's on paying debt this paycheck, that means I might not be able to cover everything next paycheck. Now, what you might have noticed is there's no actual payment to the line of credit listed here at all. And I did mention putting money back into the buffer and other stuff, right? So over here, the buffer, the remaining money from my mom was $451.50. And I am paying my cash envelopes and my sinking fund out of the buffer. Yeah, sorry, that was another thing that I meant to mention, that those are not mentioned in here either. So my what I decided to do with the money that my mom gave me was kind of take it out of the general budget, put it to the side, and use it to pay exclusively my sinking funds and my cash envelopes, which are listed down here for their amounts. That way, these aren't coming out of like the regular part of the budget, so out of my regular paycheck. And the hope is by doing this that I will then be able to make payments onto my line of credit from like the regular budget, because these expenses are being taken care of from a different source of money. So from the $451.50, which was my mom's buffer, I took out $176 to put into my sinking funds, and then $182.06 for my cash envelopes. I know it's a really weird number, but that is because I had already done my grocery shopping. So I did my grocery shopping Friday after physio before I got home, because I knew there was enough money. By the way, I put my cash envelope money, it's all digital, and so it's sitting on a prepaid credit card. I knew there was enough money on the prepaid credit card from other categories of like other envelope categories that also have their money on that prepaid card, to cover the grocery purchases, and then it would all balance out once I did the budget and refunded, that's not the right word, put money onto the MasterCard to, like, when I moved over my cash envelope money again from my budgeting. I don't know that this video is any less rambly than the original one. But so because of that, I had purchased, wait, let me show you. So when I went to Safeway, I purchased in total $61.27. But this stuff right circled right there was actually for Stryker, so that comes out of his money. Now normally, like I said, I put the cash envelope money, I tap it over onto the, like I tapped the prepaid MasterCard. But because I hadn't done the budget yet and the money for groceries was technically still sitting in my checking account, I just paid using my debit card. So I divided out the money to say that $3.33 of that overall grocery purchase was Stryker. $57.94 of it was coming from the grocery fund. So I put the grocery fund technically into a negative balance, and then I funded it back $120 because that's how much I give it bi-weekly for that category. So that meant I actually had $76.20 because I started with a balance of $14.14. So $76.20 minus how did I do the math? Oh God, now I'm going to confuse myself again. This took me forever to figure out. It was $120 minus $57.94. That remaining amount is what I had to move over to the prepaid credit card for the grocery category. So that amount combined with the miscellaneous, the fund, the physio, and the transportation numbers, it is the amount that I had to transfer over to the prepaid credit card for my cash envelopes. So that came out to $182.06. So once I deducted those from the buffer, I had $93.44 left. I added in the $75, which brought me up to $168.44. And then way down here, because I did it later, I updated the buffer. So I took the $168.44 and then I added in the remaining amount of the ICBC check, which was $1,775.22. So the ICBC check in total was $3,775.22. And after much deliberation and thinking and talking to my mom, I put $2,000 of it onto the line of credit. And the remaining money, that $1,775.22, I am putting into the buffer to go towards paying the sinking funds and the cash envelopes for as long as that money can last, because I lost my part-time job in the after the car accident, because I wasn't able to do it anymore, and I have yet to find a way to make up that lost income. And with the amount of money I have to put onto the line of credit to get that paid off, I do not bring in enough money for my own budget when it includes paying off debt. And I know that, and I don't know. The only way to fix it is to bring in more money, but there's very few jobs that I can actually do right now, and the ones that I can do, even then I'm kind of limited because I have really good and really bad days. I have a lot of physio appointments, so I can't just start working immediately after I finish my regular day at work because I have to go off to various medical appointments and whatnot. I'm a high maintenance employee right now. And so I'm finding it very hard to find a job, also because I need something that's from home. I can't really work out in a busy environment or a loud environment or a bright environment, and that's what most part-time jobs entail. So I'm trying. I keep looking for part-time jobs that I can do from home that are like legitimate and not just filling out surveys. I just haven't found one yet, but I will keep trying. So over here, the line of credit, I paid $2,000 from the ICBC check, and then that $9.21 from Rakuten, I was able to put it onto the line of credit, which is great because that meant in total I paid $2,009.21. Now, I did originally think that if I only used $2,000 from the ICBC check, I would then pull $1,000 from my own long-term savings. I don't have very much in them, but I have enough that I could pull $1,000 and put it on because I really wanted to get the line of credit below $20,000. And if I put $3,000 on it, it would get it below $20,000. And I was so incredibly excited for that. That's also partly why I was originally going to put this $200 to the line of credit, because I thought any little bit, like any nudge to get me below that 20 grand, I just really wanted to do. But I've been thinking about it and really just sort of like sitting on it and trying to figure out. And I think that, yeah, I really want to do that, but budgeting isn't always about what you want. And just because I really want to get it below 20,000 and see the debt total on that starting with a 19 doesn't mean that that's necessarily the smartest decision right now. Because as I have learned in the past year, you don't know when emergencies are going to happen. You don't know when accidents are going to happen. And it's not like I'm sitting here thinking like, oh my God, at any moment something else could happen. But, that car accident really derailed a lot of things for me. It's not ruined my whole year, but the year that I was going to have did not end up being at all the year that I was given. And a lot of things have had to change in my world, and I just have to remember that, I think. And as much as I want to take that money and put it onto the debt, I think that if something else were to happen right now and all of a sudden I couldn't work, I would need that emergency fund, desperately need that emergency fund. And I don't want to necessarily touch it quite yet. Now, I might change my mind. I might decide, maybe when tax season comes, because I should be getting a refund, maybe I'll decide at that point to pull out $1,000 from it to up the amount of money that I put onto my line of credit, because I plan on putting my tax refund onto the line of credit. So like maybe I'll change my mind going forward. But right now, I've decided that as much as I want to get it below 20 grand, it's not like doing that I would then be able to go and like save up again and pay that long-term savings back. So maybe just better to not touch it quite yet and just take time to pay off the debt. I know it's going to take time, but I've made a huge payment of $2,009.21, and that's going to make a really big difference. And I need to acknowledge that and be really happy with that and not greedy for even more. So, and I am very happy with this $2,009.21 payment to the line of credit. And I will keep working really hard to be able to keep paying it off. And you know what? One day we will be celebrating that it's below $20,000, and that'll be a great day. So that is what I did with the budget. Oh, I have a little note here. My Visa had a charge for $134.40 for my WordPress account. I have a blog. The link is in the description below. And I forgot that auto charged to the Visa card. I thought I had moved all my auto charges to my Neo card. So that one actually still went to the Visa. So that gets paid from my tech sinking fund. So I paid that out from the tech sinking fund. So that is fine. The Visa is once again back to a zero balance. It makes me so happy to see that. And yeah, that in a nutshell is my budget and what I did with all the money, how things ended up. I think I did a pretty good job, I'm going to say. Now, I know that it only worked because I have the buffer money, and I was only able to make such a large payment onto the line of credit because of the ICBC check. That's for lost wages, in case you're wondering. That's not for like compensation for injury or anything. I've been fighting really hard to get paid out for lost wages. So that's for that. But yeah, so this is the budget. This is what I did. Even though this is a very rambly video, I promise you it is better than the first one that I did. That one you would have just clicked off so fast. I think I only managed to get down to striker before I went off on a tangent. So I'm going to put this one up instead. Thank you very much for sitting through this with me and seeing what I'm doing with my budget. If you have any tips or ideas, I'm always open to suggestions. I hope everybody is having a really great day and your budget is going well and everything is balancing, and whatever your budgeting goals are, you are reaching them. I hope you all just have a good one out there. Stay safe. I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.